Hi everyone, this is Rion Paper. Welcome to another video. I'm just gonna cut this PT tape for a bit while we do a little story time. Maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't, that I didn't upload a video last week. And that has two reasons. The kind of boring reason is that it was crazy hot in the Netherlands last week, at least in the beginning of the week. And my brain had melted at that point. I had to go to work just as usual, but I was really struggling with my energy and not sleeping well because it was just too hot. And the weather was super muggy, humid. And I'm really glad that for now that seems to be over. It is a lovely grey day. We've had a little bit of rain this morning, which is great for both the garden and for just my mental health, I suppose. So that was the boring reason why I just didn't get to filming a video last week. But there was also a very exciting reason, and that is because we got a new kitten, number 3. And let it be said on camera that 3 is absolutely my maximum. We're not adopting more kittens. So yeah, let's just rewind to 2-3 weeks ago. Was it 2-3? I don't know. Let's just say 3 weeks. When it was Father's Day and my partner and I had just had dinner with my father-in-law, and we were cycling back to our house, which is 35 minutes or so by bike, and we saw a very cute cat just sitting in the grass, and it was just looking chill. So we just stopped and walked over, and the cat was super cuddly and just wanted to say hi. And when we got on our bikes again, I said, you know what? How would you feel about adopting another cat? We already have 2 cats. So how would you ever want another one? And my partner said, maybe, but only if we find one. One that doesn't have a home. And I said, well, careful what you're saying, because I really have had this feeling that we are gonna find a cat, or maybe, I don't know, a box of kittens, or just something that may happen sometimes. And he said, that's probably just wishful thinking on your part. And I'm so glad that I said that out loud, because otherwise no one would have believed me when not even 5 minutes later, my partner says, points at something at the side of the road, and he says, what's that in the grass? So we stop and we walk over, and there is a tiny kitten sitting in the tall grass on the side of the road. No houses nearby, just quite fast traffic, and we're just we can't leave this one here. So we just looked if maybe there were any signs of more kittens or a mother cat, but no, nothing. So we called at first we were okay, we said that we were gonna adopt a kitten if we find one, but this one is so small and it just really needs care. It wasn't wounded, or at least didn't look wounded, but it definitely looked like it could just needs a checkup and just lots of attention, because it was maybe 4 weeks old or something. And normally when you adopt a kitten, it's 10 to 12 weeks old. So at that point, it just should be with other cats and with its mother cat preferably. So we called the animal ambulance, but it was a Sunday evening and it was quite late, and they said we don't really have anyone that can come and get the kitten, except if it's an emergency, if it's really bleeding or something. But it was looking okay. It was looking a little weak, but they just asked if we could give it some food and water, and they could pick it up at our place in the morning. So we agreed to that. So we took it home. My partner carried it all the way in his t-shirt, which was very cute. And We put it in a nice big box with a soft blanket, some water, some like liquid food. And it seemed to be doing all right. And then the next morning they came and picked it up. And before you know it, we were like missing the kitten like crazy. And we were like, okay, maybe when it's like old enough, we should just adopt it. So we called the animal shelter that we thought it would have been brought to, but they didn't have it. And they pointed us to another one where it could have been brought to. And we called that one and they said like, oh yeah, we have a kitten and it's now like with a foster family and it's being taken care of. And you know what, call us back in like 2 weeks and we'll put you in contact. So we were like, okay, let's wait 2 weeks and call. And then we called and then it turned out to be some kind of misunderstanding because they were talking about another kitten, and the kitten we had found, like no one knew where it was and what had happened to it, which was so weird. So what we think is that maybe he just didn't make it, because we were talking with the animal shelter later, and they said like, yeah, like often when there's like a nest of like a litter of kittens and one of the kittens has something like some kind of problem or illness, then the mother cat will often know and will just leave it because she can't save it. So maybe there was already something wrong with the kitten and it just didn't make it. Or maybe, which is what I'm hoping, someone like from maybe the animal ambulance like just took it and cared for it and it's doing fine now. Like we just don't know. But at that point we were like fully committed to adopting a cat. So the animal shelter pointed us to a foster home where they have all these kittens that were found on the streets, in the forest, on a train station, like just the most random cases. And they like make sure they are socialized and used to humans and they're healthy. And we went there and we completely fell head over heels with a super, super cute kitten. We named him Taco, and he's already with us because he was almost old enough to be adopted. So we just waited a couple days and then we could get him. And in the meantime, we could just like do all the paperwork stuff with the animal shelter. And now he's here and he's turning our lives upside down because kittens have a ton of energy and they are so mischievous. I don't know. They like doing kitten stuff. Our oldest cat is really fond of him. He's being the best older brother that we could have wished for. The other one, Momo, she doesn't really like him yet, but it's getting better. She's sounding less like a demon when he's close, so she's slowly starting to tolerate him. She's always been slow to adapt and to get used to new things, so she'll get there. And little Taco has been doing so well. He's super playful, like really social. Like he really likes to seek out the other cats and he likes to cuddle with us and play with us. And yeah, he's fantastic. And I'm so glad that we met him through this really weird chain of events. So yeah, that is basically reason 2 why I didn't film last week, because we were, apart from like melting from the heat, we were very busy with cat stuff. And I will definitely insert a little clip of Taco. Sorry for the dishwasher in the background, the noises, but this is Taco. Hello, sweetie. And he is just the most chill, most cute kitten ever. He's already made friends with our oldest cat, Uzo, who seems to absolutely adore him. But the other one, Momo, doesn't really like him much. But we'll get there. She just needs a little bit more time. But yeah, Taco has been with us since last Saturday. It's now Wednesday, so only 5 days. And he's doing so well. He's just, I love him so much. And look at how high he climbs already. Without any problems at all, he's up there. And he even knows how to get down. So that's something. And now he's a little tired because he has been running around the house for like 3 hours straight. The amount of energy kittens have is absolutely crazy. So yeah, now he just needs to do a little sleepier. Yeah, you go sleep, little one. Little tiger. All right, so yeah, I hope you like him just as much as we do. And I'm really curious to see like what kind of cat he grows into. And yeah, I feel like it's gonna change the dynamic between the cats here. It's bound to, but I have a good feeling about it. So really, really happy right now. I have also like just the tiny planner update because it's kind of too small to be its own video. So let's just chug it in here. I've been having a good time in the Hobonichi Weeks, which is basically the only thing I've been using for the past couple weeks. There seems to be some kind of pattern where in June, maybe because it always gets quite hot in June, but then I just don't feel like planning, like journaling. I seem to abandon like all of my books for at least a week and just like have some scratch paper on my desk and just do the bare minimum, which also translates into just doing the bare minimum for like the house and just projects and just everything like sort of comes to a halt. And then at some point I feel disorganized and chaotic and I'm just like, okay, I really need my system back. But what I've been doing is trying out kind of like one book July, except I kind of started it in June. I've been trying out journaling in the Hobonichi Weeks, which was something I never did. I always used, like, let's just take a random example week. I always use my weekly pages for like my appointments, my day-specific tasks, and then just some tasks for the week. And I was like, maybe I can let's just try like writing my appointments in the monthly pages, which is where they were. Like I already wrote them down there. I just copied them in here so I have an overview of the week. But I was like, okay, let's just not copy them. Let's keep these appointments in the monthly calendar. The daily to-do list, let's just do that on a piece of scrap paper, put that on my desk and just leave it there for a bit. And then let's try journaling here, because I've been noticing that in my 5-year journal, I will often have quite a bit of space left. Like, so it's like, okay, maybe I can just do tiny daily entries and then use the right-hand page for like a bit of a bigger entry, like reflecting on the week, on one specific event, maybe looking forward to next week, next month, just a bigger entry whenever I feel like it. And then just a daily entry here. There's still like one appointment in here that I already written down, but just wrote around it. And I've been enjoying this quite a bit. I've been doing this for 3.5 weeks now. And yeah, I really like this. It's a great way it's an easy way to fill up these pages, to still do a bit of journaling without it feeling too much. And if I skip a day, it's really easy to catch up because it's just like tiny entries. And I've still been doing my to-do lists in the back, using the appointments that I have in the calendar and then just the things I want to do that week on my piece of scrap paper. And that from that, I sort of make a to-do list for the day. So far, this is working quite well. I don't know if next year I want to try a 1-book system. I have usually had like 2 books at least. That seems to have been the sweet spot. I'm not a 7 planner and journal person. Definitely not. I do like to consolidate. But I always said that I want to keep planning and journaling separate, and that is not what I'm doing right now. But I also want to make use of all of the space and not have too much duplicate information. So I was like, you know what, there's no harm in trying. I'm not ruining the book by having a couple of weeks look different. And maybe if I really like it, I'll just keep doing this. So yeah, that is something that I've been doing in this book that has been quite nice, actually. I'm not going to film a flip through for June just because I haven't used my planners that much. Another thing that I've stopped doing is my mood tracking. I'd been logging my mood and like tiny explanations of why I felt that way for I think about 2 years now. And it was feeling so much like a chore, and there was so much repetition. And I feel like I've learned what I can from it, and it's not really gonna change much, I think. Obviously, not all weeks are the same, and sometimes I'm more stressed and more anxious, and sometimes I'm feeling better. But the general gist is the same. Like, I get stressed when there's big social events, when I'm stressed about work things. I feel relaxed and energized during weekends when we have like lots of time, like when I have lots of time for myself and I can just like do things around the house. Like, I know that about myself by now after 2 years of logging and tracking. So I was like, I mean, it looks pretty, but it's starting to feel a little bit performative. So I just quit doing that for I think 3 weeks now. And yeah, I'm not really missing it. So that's also like, that is valuable information for like a next year's system, which is probably something that I'll be starting to think about in August, because I do like buying next year's like books around September, usually because that's when the Hobonichi launches their new line. So yeah, that's valuable information to get. Like, okay, maybe I don't need a specific like a calendar page for each month for just my mood tracking. I could just leave that out, and so that just creates some opportunities for changing around some of these spreads. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay, hope to see you in the next one, and hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.